Okay.
Okay, great.
Hi, thanks to ICONES for this opportunity. From the University of Córdoba in Colombia, UNADE in Mexico, and UNIR in Spain. We present a learning analytics models to determine the validity of learning path planning case study. The COVID-19 has posed enormous challenges to higher education in the world, in aspects already documented, such academic dropout by Garay and Anrua. The need to qualify teachers on methodological aspects for node alternancy by Abdi and others, and the use of virtual and distance education techniques by Vanita and others. In Colombia, academic planning based on learning outcomes were recently introduced. For this reason, validated methods are required to plan learning paths in e-learning environments, as pointed out by Chrisman and others. The case of a study is a course on ICT pedagogical strategies for virtual e-learning, aimed at the 300 full-time university teachers. The course presents a method for planning classes based on learning outcomes, which enables the transition to virtual learning platforms. The course lasted 2 weeks. It was developed and applied with 14 master-level tutors. The blocks of the course were listed and the order of the learning path from the first week, 0 for the introduction and general aspects, and 1 for the first learning unit. In the second week, the 2 for the second unit. Each unit consists learning results, educational resource, learning evidences, and communication space. The question is, how good was this planning? Social distance, learning environments, higher education, and the fourth industrial revolution. The frame e-learning, learning outcomes, and analytics, crossing this course planning to e-learning context. Learning paths and learning analytics emerge. These are the identified alternatives to validate the learning path of the case study. According to Ochoa, learning analytics allows us to understand and optimize environments and learning. Moodle provides mechanisms to capture and process user interaction records. Lepeonati indicates that these logs allow personalized feedback, and Gudget points out the models must be borrowed from the knowledge of the teacher. The research method has been adapted from Pérez Valiente and Sofunaz from educational question. First, the source of the data is identified. Moodle is in this case. For data acquisition, the raw data was obtained from the Moodle logs. In data extraction and integration using Excel, the data was manipulated and features engineering was done to build the data dictionary. This activity, together with the data analysis activity, was carried out irreversibly. The data and the model were explored, grouped, and predicted using Orange Biolab. The data was finally interpreted to write the report of the validity of the learning path using Word and PowerPoint.
In data acquisition, due to ethical commitment, the data was anonymized, and the 100,000 records were exported in Excel format. From the Moodle platform logs with information of the date and time of the interaction of the users and the context of the event. The 32 elements of the Moodle course were listed in the proposed order, recorded and characterized in the learning path. For data extraction and integration, in addition to the logs that inform us of the user interaction, we expand the context with the learning path that data enriched with the intention, the inspection date, and impact. From the five pieces of evidence, the score is recorded, then the global score and level of performance achieved is calculated. This is how the tiled data dictionary was built, with 3 variables and 19 indicators. 72,000 records were consolidated and at the end of this phase. For data analysis, Orange Bio Lab facilitate the manage and select of data, as well as the generation of models and graphs using big data and machine learning techniques. CF diagram horizontally divide the record into 4 equal groups. In this case, based on data and time of each interaction, and vertically according to the possible value of select variables. The blue colors indicate more data than expected, and the red, the opposite, that is the absence of data. A more intensive color indicates a great difference. This graph indicates that the section of the learning path were mostly covered in the proposed order. This is confirmed by analyzing the element of the learning path ordered. The little difference with the planned dates also stand out. The same happens with the evidence and with the intention. Results and communication were accessed first and then the evidence. About achievement, 70% of the teacher finished in the scheduled time with an excellent level of performance. 18% too longer to deliver and performance well. 12% interacted at the end of the performance poorly. Using 90 pages, a normogram was generated that identified the interaction of the teacher who achieved an excellent performance. The normogram calculates the scale relative to each variable and determine the probability of successful in the course based in the progress along path. The same has been calculated for each performance level. As a result, recent theoretical reference related learning path analytics have been identified. A methodology for educational data analytics was formulated and validated. It has been defined how to characterize a learning path. Data set was built on route and learning path with responding data dictionary. A data analysis method based in CF charm was defined to validate the planning of the learning path, its application to use case. The naive Bayes method and the use of normogram were selected to calculate a prediction model of successful and unsuccessful learning paths. Conclusion. Using learning analytics, it has been proved that the planning has been successful. Since 18% of the teachers following the proposed route and obtain good and excellent performance. A probability model has been generated to predict the level of success for the planned routes that can be applied to regular course. The potential of open source and everyday tools is in data analytics has been demonstrated. This work can promote the participation of teachers in the formulation and use of analytical learning model. We'll have reference cited in the presentation in standard APA. Thanks.